All right, today let's talk about Matrova mousepads. Matrova as a company and everything they're offering to us as consumers. Now, I will say I did have a whole like extravagant video planned out for these two mousepads. Like I'm talking about, I had clips in there. Like it was definitely like more of a structured and review like you would see from other reviewers, but uh, my drive got corrupted, so I lost a lot of reviews, a lot of clips, a lot of personal bests, a lot of replays, just a lot of stuff that I've been collecting over the years. So working on a solution to that, but I figured why not just get my raw thoughts and opinions like I always do, instead of just delaying and waiting to drop this review. All right, so look, we have Matrova mouse pads, right? Matrova is probably a company you have been seeing lately all over your feed. So you probably been seeing on your timeline on Twitter. You probably done seen something about the Breeze, the Balance X, or just them as a company as in general. You've seen some reviewers talk about their mouse pads from aim and depth into others, and they're definitely making a name for themselves in the community. Now, I would definitely say immediately just no non-biased stuff off of having conversations with parodies and just interacting with them. They seem like a group of people who are authentic, and when I say authentic, they're not acting as if like they're just trying to do a money grab or just looking for a way to make some quick cash, like how some of these other brands do in this community. They actually seem like they're very genuine and seem like they really want to put out top-notch, high-quality products. So that kind of made me even more excited to talk about them. Now, originally, I was just going to get the Balance X sent out for review, or was it the Pink Storm? I can't remember. But I ended up saying, hey, both of these are cool. Either one is fine with me, but I ended up sending both, which is really dope, and I do appreciate them for that. Now, as always, just a little disclaimer: nothing that that's been sent out for review is gonna sway my opinion. As always, I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be 100, keep it real with y'all, and tell y'all exactly how I feel. And off of my first impressions when I initially got these pads, I naturally gravitated towards the Pink Storm. The Pink Storm is a surface that is textured, it's quicker on the dynamic, the static is a little bit higher, but can be mitigated with faster skates. Has a, I believe this is a polyurethane base, if I'm not mistaken, because they have different base options, and it's just a very firm mouse pad. So immediately, for me, texture and firm, calling my name, you feel me? So I had went ahead and was using this for a while. Now, eventually I gravitated towards the Balance X a little bit more just because I like the consistency of this mouse pad. The only issue I really ever had with the Pink Storm was with the static friction. The static friction on this pad is a little bit higher than what my liking is. Now, using something like the Artisan dots definitely kind of helps mitigate that, but the Artisan dots got like a trade-off to them, which I will talk about more when I drop like a review for those. But just to kind of give you an idea of what I mean, the Artisan dots are labeled as a speed skate, but once they're broken in, you really use them for a long time, they really slow down a lot, and they still offer that same low static friction, but the dynamic friction becomes a lot more controlled. You can feel it a lot more in your tracking specifically, at least for me. And since I don't use cloth pads as much as other people do, I mainly use glass pads and the Shidenkai. It definitely shows in my aim, like it definitely shows the inconsistency. So I experience a lot more of those inconsistencies using this pad specifically, not just with the Artisan dots, even with the J's, Tiger Ice, and even with the Ren Sports. The Ren Sports are amazing on this pad just because it's a firmer pad, and those skates are like really quick. Those by far was my favorite combination to use with this particular mouse pad. But I just noticed those inconsistencies a lot more just because that static was a lot higher. I definitely feel like that the way this pad is designed, that you can use this in like tech FPS games or like static scenario and get like a lot more consistency in like your headshots and things like that, just because of that static. That static allows you to be a little bit more precise and have that extra needed, I would say, control in your aim. But the dynamic is very fun, very loose. It definitely has that energy of like the hien, where the hien is has a uneven x and y. The y axis is a little bit quicker, and then the x-axis is a little bit slower. So it's kind of doing the same exact thing here, but it's not so drastic to where it's like something like the cool or whatever it's called from Artisan. It's not something crazy like that, but it's just a little subtle difference that you can kind of tell in your gameplay if you're really looking at it in isolated situations. Other than that though, the surface of the pad is textured, but it's not like extremely textured. You can still feel the glide when you're using it, but it's still a very smooth glide. If I had to really compare it to something, I would say honestly, it's around the High R2 and maybe like the Neptune maybe, but it's not like a super textured pad. The texture is there, but it's still pretty lightly textured, even though it is a firm pad. Now, just to go back into that, I would say if they do offer like an extra firm or like a whatever firmness, I probably more than likely will be copping it, just because I like stiffer mouse pads. You know, I talk about it a lot in my review for the raiden, how I enjoyed the mid over the xsoft, because I just feel like it's more consistent and just the glide and everything just feels so much better for me. And that's exactly how I feel about the Pink Storm. I just feel like if this was in like a softer variant, I feel like it wouldn't be that good, especially with the static friction being the way it is. Overall, this is a solid mouse pad. The stitching is good. I did have like some weird, like, you know, part right here, but I think that really came from me, because like I had this stacked on a bunch of mouse pads, and then like I had them like in an area where it was like getting caught on stuff on my bed and whatnot. So that might have been my fault why it looked like that. But overall, in terms of quality, build quality, it's very premium feeling. It's very high quality stitching. Don't notice any fraying or anything like that. It just looks very good, very premium for a budget price. Now, the Balance X is where I would say is the star of the show. The Balance X is, in my opinion, probably the best pad they offer in their entire lineup. I haven't tried the entire lineup, but if I had to guess, a lot of people are buying the Balance X, and I know a lot of people are buying the Breeze too, because the Breeze is like essentially a raiden clone, but we'll talk about that because I got a custom Breeze on the way. Anyway, so the Balance X is a very unique pad. The Balance X reminds you of the Zero in terms of speed. It has that same kind of like quickness but control element to it. But for me, when I put the Ren Sports on with the Balance X, it just transformed overall how this mouse pad felt for me. The X and Y is very consistent. They're very evenly balanced, hence the name Balance X, but it's a very even XY axis experience. The glide is quicker. It's not OD quick, but like I said, it's something similar to like the Zero, which is why it draws a lot of those comparisons. The softness of it is soft, because I didn't get the custom base. I didn't get the custom base. I didn't get the custom size or the custom art. I just did whatever the stock recommendation was, just so I can get a very natural, true experience. And it's a soft. It feels like an Artisan soft, maybe slightly firmer, maybe, I don't know, but it definitely feels like it's on par with Artisan in terms of like the softness, so it feels very familiar. The base is very sticky. You're using a Pulsar base, so yeah, you know what I'm saying, very sticky base. Very familiar with that. But the overall surface feels like texture wise like a Zero. The main difference is though is that this pad has a coating on it. I seen somewhere where people said it was like a glass infused coating, but I don't think it is that. I think it's just like a coating they added on top for like durability reasons. I don't think it's anything that's like affects the glide of the pad overall. I haven't noticed any inconsistencies. I haven't noticed any like peeling or anything like that, because I've been having these mouse pads for a while now, so I haven't noticed anything like that. But it's a very consistent, very fun mouse pad. I would definitely say like all of them, this is the star of the show. Like this one, just when I got through the Pink Storm and I went to use this one, literally I was talking to Parodies in the Discord and I was telling them, I was like, bro, the Balance X is amazing, bro. Like, yeah, man, I don't know. The Balance X is special. It's definitely a special mouse pad, extremely underrated. And just like with the stitching on the Pink Storm, below the surface level stitching, like if I pull out an Artisan bag, you probably really can't tell the difference. Like you would think Artisan made this themselves, and this is overall like a really premium feeling mouse pad while offering in a budget price. Oh, to kind of wrap this review up, I want to kind of tie up some loose ends. The reason why I and a lot of other reviewers compare this mouse pad to Artisan mouse pads is because they are offering that same kind of quality Maybe not performance, because these pads are unique in their own way. They're not like other companies where they're trying to directly create a clone of Artisan mousepad. I would say these pads are inspired by Artisan, but they have their own unique twist. Like the Balance X is inspired by the Zero, but it has its own unique twist with the coding and just overall how it's slightly slower. It's like on turns in terms of the Zero, on turn it's on par with speed, but it's just like slightly slower. But if you put quicker skates on, it can be just as fast, if not faster, than the Zero. And then even with something like the Breeze is something that's extremely smooth. It draws comparisons to the Raiden, but it's, some people even said it's even more smoother than the Raiden, you know what I'm saying? Even possibly quicker than the Raiden. It just kind of depends, you know what I'm saying? So these pads are unique in their own way. But I feel like where Matrova is standing out and doing things differently than most companies. Most companies these days are just dropping a black square or like an anime mouse pad, and it's a $490 by $420, and they're just like, here you go, $50, $60, $70, buy it now, whatever. The difference that with Matrova is they're giving the value back to you. They're giving you the option of tailoring your experience. So if you want to have a $490 by $420 square black square, that's on you, but you can also get custom art. Like this mouse pad, for instance, this is a glass mouse pad. I don't even know if they're selling it still, but this is a custom glass mouse pad that was offered. But you can get custom art on their cloth pads if you want to do a $490 by $420, if you want to do a $500 by $500, or if you want to do a more firm surface on, let's say for instance, the Breeze or the Balance X, or you want to do a softer surface on the Pink Storm. Like, you have these options. You have different base options. You have the polyurethane, the Starfast, Starfish, whatever it's called, the Pour Run. You know, you have different options to tailor your experience to your liking and what you might want out of your mouse pad, all while getting it at a fair price, I would say. Shipping isn't that bad. It does take a decent amount of time to do, but of course anything would if you're buying a custom. But that's the main selling point of their mouse pads. So the people that's calling these are like calling these mouse pads direct Artisan clones, or they're trying to be like Artisan. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would just say they're offering just, you know, premium level mouse pads for a cheaper price that can be compared to Artisan, just because Artisan is like the, you know what I'm saying, the bar. So but overall though, Matrova, just huge shouts out to y'all. Thank you for sending these pads out. Definitely was impressed, and I wouldn't even have made this review and speak highly and positive as I am if I didn't feel the way I feel. I honestly feel like if you've been seeing Matrova mouse pads on your timeline, or you've been seeing them on YouTube, or seeing people use them and you've been considering buying one, I definitely would say it's worth buying one, especially when you have the option of customizing it to your experience. Even if the performance isn't directly like something like what you might be expecting or what a reviewer would say or something like that, you can tailor your experience to get something you like. And I think that's something that a lot of other companies will eventually copy and start doing with their products. But right now, that's what's making Matrova stand out. I definitely can see in the future Matrova having that cult-like following where everybody swear by their mouse pads. I can see it happen. They feel authentic, they feel real, and they feel like they're here to offer genuine budget options for people that need them, or if you're looking for it, you know what I'm saying? But you know, that's just my opinion. You know, not everybody might agree with that, but that's just my opinion. But don't be surprised if you see a part 2 of like Matrova mouse pads on the channel, because I still have to talk about this glass mouse pad and also the custom pieces I will be getting from them real soon. But other than that though, man, I've been talking hellas. It's your boy Widget. I'm out, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments.